However, none of that matters. Into map 2. The teams fly on in again, and of course it is busy straight away off the start as Daga finds Destroy. Teams that contested living quarters last time will go yet again. We will assess how these things move around as the day moves about. However, right now, if you lost last time, you're definitely coming back for revenge here in map 2.
Living quarters being hot is just so interesting to me. You got Heretics here, you got Team Zix nearby as well. Destroy is here. So a couple of 3 teams just kind of looking around, but very quickly you could have one of these other teams like Falcons or Twisted Minds just collapse on you. The third party is a very real threat right now.
It is, indeed. You start to put yourself in a difficult spot, and honestly, I'm trying to think back. Is living quarters often hotly contested? I don't often feel so unless you begin to become worried about a team from Stronghold, and right now the on-squad out there is going to be Falcons and Cams. Absolutely, Reed Zix has more confidence. Oh, nearly! Hamu just does enough to bring down the Spaniard, and that will be the saving graces there for Team Zix, because that looks like a very worrying situation. If he falls there, they're completely out of this.
Yeah, really solid timing there from Hamu to kind of fly on in. That was almost becomes a 1v3 from Cams by themselves. And if you would be Team Zix going out in fashion like that, you would definitely be feeling a little dejected at that mark. But let's look on over. Team Vitality, a rough game number 1 for them. They need to kind of make something happen, but look who is nearby to them as well. It's fellow EU folks. It is, of course, Team Abwiz.
Yeah, and they're just playing around Industries here and continuing to be a thorn in that Vitality side. But what they often like to do is then play out through towards Dock, and we'll find Team Destroy en route. However, Stuo doesn't want to just let things slide and fires off some bullets. Moving on towards Guild, we know that they like to contest this prison. We know that they often end up in a fight with Team Izund. It's often back and forth, but right now it looks like the guys from Britain are coming out on top.
Yeah, we saw that Team Izund was our first team eliminated in map number 1, and I'm starting to see why. When you got a Guild that's moving around prison like this, holding a couple different of the levels, it is no surprise that they are finding those eliminations. No. Back on the other side of the map, though, we have SGP Syndicate, who maybe might be taking this fight. Doggy flies around the corner. Patsuka will be able to find him. Stuo with the assist as well from up top. Will get taken on out as they fly on through. Believe is taken on down. They're starting to see some of these breacher drones maybe creating some space. Hopefully some self-revives go off. You can get the teammates back on up. That would be a huge ream to the other side of the map. We were starting to see Na'Vi go against Team Destroy.
Yeah, a little bit more chemistry there coming out of Vitality. The kind of plays that we expect. Stuo provides the coverage for Patsuka and Enxin to get aggressive, and it does enough to keep them in this one. Let's look on over then towards our map 1 winners. Team Twisted Minds here playing out through Harbour. They are going to have company from the Spaniards, who haven't looked bad at the start of this, but Z-Smith is going to make things difficult for them as he pulls the dagger down into the ground. Method Sick also cleaned on up, so Cam's going to be by himself for a moment.
Oh, but Falcons on the other side of the map, starting to see Zizix and Hamoud taken on out, bringing them on down. The Falcons getting aggressive over on that side of the map. You have Omit, maybe a little of a lackluster game number 1, trying to be able to kick-start the car here in game number 2. Strongholds looking a little bit of alive here, as we do see Team Destroy, we're getting put in a little bit of a blender early on. Looks like Stronghold has been their POI to try and regain on, but I don't know if that's the best decision, Enigma, when Falcons are waiting nearby.
I mean, if I'm VOD reviewing my tournament and I'm thinking Stronghold is a landing place to recover against the Falcons, I've got a couple of questions about your decision-making. But anyway, moving on over towards our Puerto Ricans, the surprise squad for me, who managed to get on through this Omit lineup, but they will not have been surprised in their own performances as they try and contest around this factory region, which will be quite busy, by the way. You've got Twisted Minds here, you've got the new Icons here, and a couple of players from the Heretics still lingering around.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about it, that Factory can kind of become this area that you can find a lot of teams trying to sit on, and it feels like Twisted Minds is really finding a lot of success moving back and forth from that POI. SGP Syndicate, though, we do see Donkey get taken on out, barely staying alive, and just at the last moment, Believe we'll be able to stick the res, but you have to do it quickly because Oki is nearby, looking to get a little bit of an aggressive take here, but it looks like a smoke will give them the space they need to wrap back on out. But on the outside, AB Wiz, they were trying to get active in that fight, but it seems like somebody is starting to bring it to them. Well, it's none other than Fnatic. You got Skullface down below. UAV will get popped by Oki. drops the PA on the roof, maybe to catch another player, but none of the members of Fnatic are up there. You just have Skullface down in the showers.
That might have been a bunker buster that comes on down, by the way, and it's going to be causing some grief for Fnatic, because not only do you get the initial impact, but you get this gas as well that lingers around and causes all of the aerial denial. The thing is as well, with no friendly fire, apologies, coming into that, you can then push into it yourself. I'm surprised by the lack of aggression there out of Team Abwiz. I expected them to fly at that, but they're just going to let Fnatic escape for now, and Fnatic will only run into more trouble as he tries to put plates in and has company, and he's going to turn, and he's going to try and burn, and he finds one, but he gets landed on as well, and there are multiple players here as Noobs tries to spring on over the top. King AJ's trying to provide the support, but he takes bullets in the back as well. Got to be careful because Wars is in a gunfight, and Vision's out of here.
Skullface making the great escape, and Noobs coming down from the heavens to assist, keeping their tournament life alive. That is the type of plays I love seeing from Fnatic. They are so quick to just, when maybe things don't go their way, to regroup as a squad and start to win that fight, and I think that's a perfect example of that. Skullface did such a good job of staying alive from these literally 2 or 3 different fights from different teams, and is able to play their life, not only play their life, find an elimination as well, and then create space for their squad over at Prison.
Indeed, but well, Levi just decides to punch on through Prison and find King AJ napping in a corner, apparently. Na'Vi looking to take control of the central landmark in the map. It looks like Dawn's actually going to pull slightly off towards the west side, so maybe we're talking somewhere like a headquarters for the end of this, but Biffle will not lose that gunfight, because of course he doesn't lose his ones. Cleans up, finds his 4th, and you're going to see Cam disappear off in the back there. Heretics in a spiral, and a squad that are definitely not of the Twisted Minds. All 3 players on board, and they have company in the new icons.
Yeah, currently sitting on 7. The Twisted Minds are off to a hot start here. You can see potentially could find these new icons. Aiden making the play up above, trying to get a little bit aggressive. Semtex go through the window. That could be a beautifully placed grenade. It is, brings them on down. Knight's there to help with the cleanup as they look to fly on forward, find the rest of the squad. Lukinas a little bit on the up. They got to be able to hear that, though. A little bit of a stair glitch coming in from Aiden as he tries to take the fight. Z-Smith's going to be the one to fly on forward, and it's inside. Knight finds Lukinas.
Aiden does so well there to play his life, by the way, because if he gets dragged on down early, perhaps overchalling and then giving up one of his lives, then you end up in a situation where you're trying to recover. We know how busy this area can be, but instead he stays up, allows his teammates to push, they clear out the new icons, they continue to move, and Fnatic now on our screen, and we've spoken so much about how improved they look from the World Series after that boot camp in London, and just continuing to step on up here at the Esports World Cup. They have control center control, they also have a player over in headquarters, and Noobs is going to be trailing his way over there.
Currently tied, leading eliminations in the leaderboard with Twisted Minds and Falcons in this game.
Baby.
So this is a hot start if you are Fnatic. I know that they really wanted to come into this tournament, prove everyone wrong from their past performances. Map 2 could be where it starts to come on up, but meanwhile, on the other side of the map at Living Quarters, Biffle doing what Biffle does, and that is just absolutely slam you, buddy.
Absolutely world starring, and Shifty wants all the smoke as well as he finds Tenix. By the way, talking about the kind of pace that these boys are putting on up, they have not slowed down. They still have Soka, by the way, sat in Stronghold, still playing that anchor, but Shifty and Biffle continuing to just roam around the map and tear everything to pieces. They want Factory next. There's going to be a couple Twisted Minds players in the vicinity, and then some Omit players as well, but Fnatic are cleaning out the prison, and they find 2 players. A Guardian will slow them down momentarily, but Skullface is on the hunt, and that will be Guild out of here. They are cleaned out, and that will be Fnatic taking control of our central landmark.
Well, Guild, you might have been able to hold Prison at the start of the game, but it's Fnatic's playground now as they take down Guild at the top. You still have Team Zizix not too far away, so they can potentially find some even more eliminations or start looking down towards that factory where we see Twisted Minds starting to hang on out. Biffle, just yet again, living in his living quarters, making the POI have a namesake as he is just camping on out, finding the eliminations left and right. One thing I want to note here, Enigma, Shifty with 2,600 damage, and we're only through basically half of the game.
Well, one of the things as well, they're not just taking control of the living quarters, they're also living in the minds of these Omit players, because they just keep farming them. Every time they try and come out of the sky and look for some sort of reprieve, some sort of safety, the Falcons say, not today, and clean them on up. And we will move into this Singapore Syndicate quiet thus far. I really saw a lot of plays out of Dongi through group stages. Your man on your screen right now, he was their star performer, he was their X Factor. Usually let off on a leash while the other 2 play anchor, but as respawn ends, as resurgence is disabled, you got to be careful, and I actually agree with this decision to group up together and push things as a trio.
Makes me a little bit worried, though, Enigma, because I'm looking at how many kills they have, and it's look, they're sitting on 8, which maybe might feel good until you look at the rest of the leaderboard, and we have 4 teams that are across the double-digit threshold. So you have 3 alive, your whole team is here, but you really have to try and put yourself in a power position, and I don't know if the power position is flying at the Falcons over here at the living quarters.
Okay.
Thankfully, a little bit of a trade comes on through. Dongy is able to fly on in and finds Shifty, so that is one member of the Falcons taken on down, but they need to keep this aggression going, because look, they don't be able to find the rest of the team, and already, very quickly, already back on the mix, Shifty is.
Yeah, the Falcons have been having such a good game that the resurgence time is so low, and even if you were struggling at all, you've got that buy station nearby in living quarters, so you just use the cash to bring your boy back on in. By the way, Fnatic here going to be contested by Vitality. Also likely have more company soon to arrive from Prison. This is the central area of this current zone. It's not a bad position to be in. And Almond and Go, we know how good they've been throughout this tournament at taking a hold of the best rotational points on the map. Noob's trying to provide coverage, trying to provide some information.
Just trying to look on, hang on out here. Fnatic currently sitting on 14 eliminations, only 1 behind the Falcons. A great little aerial view on the players fighting around headquarters, because as we look towards the circle, all of these teams are going to have to push on out, down, basically into this edge of living quarters. You got 1 single buy station in the zone, so we could start seeing some hero plays of people trying to get their teammates back on in, similar to like what we saw in map number 1. But Fnatic, they're doing a great job of just gatekeeping this side of zone. These players coming outside of headquarters as Noobs is just laying down the damage with this Holger 26. Almond, you might be able to kind of fly on up and maybe find the final member of Vitality.
Yeah, that setup there, just Noobs looking to provide that coverage, saves Almond essentially from being pushed off this point, and which will provide you potentially a bit of safety into the next zone. I don't know if there's safety when Falcons exist within there. Skullface will actually find Zix, and look at those buys going off in the background, and as we get a look on out over things, it's going to be Team Zix pushing up against the Team Falcons, and we know that Almond was split off, so he's decided to regroup with his 2 teammates to try and play this on out together. They got to try and make a rotation at some point, and Hamoud just about survives by the skin of his teeth, and he's going to have to play on through this building. Fnatic all around him, a member of Vitality not very far away. The plates will go in, he has a second to breathe, and then he's got to fly.
Yeah, this is a really tough spot to try and play if you are Hamoud. Fnatic doing a great job, though, of kind of playing this edge of gas. They don't really need to get hyper-aggressive. The smokes come on out. That will give them the wrap to push on in. Dongy nearby alongside Intex and Believe. Looks like you had Omit taken down. Maybe you found one. A little bit of a standoff between these 2 teams across the building. The remaining teams, as you can look at the mini-map here, everybody trying to vie for some sort of building, including Fnatic, who are just hanging out in headquarters right now. And that might be the play of them, because as the zone starts pulling back towards the north, they might be able just to look on down and find a lot of elimination.
Yeah, the zone pull benefits Fnatic massively. We do have the Falcons trying to rotate, but just what you have here is Fnatic hoping to stay alive. Maybe some PDSs come on out, burn through those gases, use the stim, stay alive, give yourself the best positioning, and look at our Falcons trying to claim it as they move on up through the smoke coverage.
Falcons looking to rotate early. Omit not too far behind, though, but you do have SGP Syndicate kind of playing from behind. So if you're not careful, you could start getting shot in your back, as everybody is trying to vie for this headquarters. Falcons flying up through.
Oh, hello.
Soka flies on in, finds all 3 members of Fnatic, says a little bit of a hello. Shifty with the pre-fire is not going to be able to find them as they are below. Hisoka fully eliminated. We know that this team likes to make gas plays, though. Will they be able to go back on in, find another buy to get their teammate in the mix? But Fnatic doing a great job with their positioning. Looks like Dongy has been able to make their way to the roof, just kind of sitting there looking down below. He sees Omit, but no shots taken.
Biffle will take bullets, though. He has 9, hoping for 10, but he's going to have to play his life. And actually, Biffle and Shifty here are somehow finding a way onto towards the rooftop. Omit have found themselves on the low ground, and Shifty's taken the top here. Dongy's cleaned on out, and we find Elolam picking up Skullface elsewhere. And this is down to our top 4 teams. And although Fnatic did have all their players, they suddenly are struggling. Noobs falls. Almond manages to trade it on out. Almond trying to provide a little bit of coverage. Doesn't realize that J6 just around the corner, and that will finally be Omit wiped from the board here. But Biffle and Shifty are somehow in the best position in this zone. What is that thermite? What is that throw? Top 3, here we go, baby.
Listen, I know Biffle might not look like the most muscular person, but he's got an arm on him. Fnatic, they opt to go to the low ground, maybe can catch the Falcons, trying to push on out as the zone is coming to the final moments. Look at your mini-map, though. Our 3rd player, it's a member from SGP Syndicate who's just in the gas on the low, maybe just trying to hope that the rest of the lobby does go on down. Noob's going going to opt to try and stay in the gas for as long as possible. Falcons on the roof, trying to shoot from below. This is a little bit tough for you, our Fnatic. Skullface tries to make the play up through the ladder. He gets taken out. That's a full. Comes down to a 2v2. Almond is down. Noobs is pushing up the ladder. Can he manage to get up here? He cannot. It's going to be Biffle who's able to bring them on down, but Biffle is shifty. They're both down. We still have one more player up, and it's going to be a member from Fnatic. It's going to come down to a heal off. Can Biffle stay alive? Who's it going to be? What is going on? What's going on? Falcons do it! Game number 2?
What? It comes down to who lives out in the gas the longer, and of course, the Falcons, undeniable, second place in the first game, but clean it up here in the most unconventional manner I think I have ever seen a Warzone game be finished. And not just that, Dandro, 23 kills, a 46-point banger for the side that are looking to claim a Dynasty title.
They had 25 in game 1 with a second place. They say that's not good enough. They answer back in map number 2 with 23 eliminations and the dub, a 46-point game. I got to imagine that Fnatic was not too far away behind them, though, as they, I believe, had 22 eliminations with that 1.7. So the thing to note from me here, Enigma, is that, great, we have a couple other teams that seems like they're able to contest with the Falcons, but you end map number 1 in second with double-digit eliminations, over 20. You take map number 2.
Game number 6 is here. Ladies and gentlemen, the crowd's going wild. Keep that energy up. Cheer for your favorite teams. I'm sure it's either Twisted Minds or maybe it is the Falcons. Here we go. Fnatic on top, though. We'll see if maybe one of our oldest orgs in the game can grab a victory here in Warzone.
Yeah, and I think the interesting thing about, you know, the conversation around our teams in the middle is, again, what landing spots do you want to keep going to? Because we've seen it. This battle for Prison has been pretty huge. And once again, we've got Na'Vi fighting up against Amit. This time, Amit are prepared for it. 10X able to get the high ground. So the pistol works out. A little battle up close and personal. Gets the crack and a little bit of a help for, I believe, what was a knock. So again, Na'Vi in trouble. No, Zeppa just hits the dirt. So he's just trying to play a little bit of survival tactics right now.
Yeah, what's crazy about this hot drop, this is just 8 versus 9th, just chalking each other's tournaments. I mean,
Correct.
over and over again, destabilized, trading each other's kills. It looks like Na'Vi getting the short end of the stick on this fight. They were trying to hunt Limax down here just to wipe him off the map and get rid of him, but player has gotten right back into it. So these are great kills for Omid if they can grab all of them, which it looks like they likely will.
Yep.
They've got a nice early lead over most of the competition, winning their early drop with, I think, a total of 3 eliminations. Only the Zix team doing that off screen.
Na'Vi has got to be, well, saying words in Australian that are very appropriate, but not for this broadcast. They have to be frustrated. 10th, 10th, 11th, and 12th have been their placements so far, which is so different from yesterday. But that's what happens. When you got teams like Guild, teams like Fnatic that want to put a lot of presence topside Prison, they're just not comfortable on these drops.
Twisted Minds, a top team, a frustrating last map, slowly falling down the leaderboard, about 9 points behind the Falcons. They need another good one. They need it now. Again, we're playing for a lot of money at the top. $200,000 if you win, plus the 50K bounty, plus just the title of an Esports World Cup champion.
Yeah, just a lot of things on the line there, brother. It's a whole laundry list of things you could check through, as Falcons actually have a good idea of who's around them. This is the Heretic squad, who often stay very safe and get last circle preference, but has not been the case yet today, and the Falcons look like they're trying to reap the reward of possibly finding some free kills. That will be at least an opportunity for Shifty to get up the ladder, but again, that just feels like Heretics are going to give away that spot.
But you know, one team that's not changing up their strategy is the Falcons. They're sending 2 out. They're leaving Ahsoka in Stronghold by himself. There's not anyone close to Ahsoka in a country mile, as Twisted Minds do clean up a couple kills here on screen, here in Factory. Again, these top teams, they're kind of farming some of the squads that are really struggling today, adding insult to injury. If you can mental boom a team, I mean, you're going to catch all of them for free and maybe even more.
Well, here's the thing. Keep an eye on this fight, because Heretics think they may be able to find this remote building to get themselves looted up again. That's not the case. Aiden does pre-fire the corner. Trust that Knight can follow up. Good bait and switch coming through. And yeah, Heretics have no drop spot right now. You can see the other member, number 12, is just floating through the backside of the gas, just trying to find something for them to land on.
Yeah, and lurking in the corner, the Falcons are here. They've got a nice sight line. That's probably who's shooting at Aiden right now. Shifty and Biffle up on high ground with a a nice angle. Couple teams in this area. It looks like Na'Vi trying to regain in Factory as well, which certainly isn't going to go well. You can see Limax over by Shifty, but back to Prison we go. We see Fnatic on top. They've got a nice 4 to 5 kills in total as a team, and seemingly all is clear on the Western Front.
Yeah, and they've cleared the Western Front. Now they're going to the Eastern Front. They know that, hey, if we're not seeing anything over towards this backside area, there must be someone on the opposite, as, once again, here is that little revive trying to come through for Na'Vi, completely denied. They're running into full squads wherever they try to land. Other teams that are doing the same thing right now, Heretics we talked about, but also New Icons. Neither of these teams can find any stable ground to get any loot.
Off screen, Omit knows the script. Hisoka by himself. They know if we go Stronghold, we saw Shifty and Biffle way up into living quarters. We know we can drop on Hisoka as a team of 3 and win that, striking away at their anchor and taking Stronghold for ourselves. So now Omit is the only team in Stronghold, as it looks like, well, unfortunately, Fnatic is continuing their tear through this map, taking out Zix and fully eliminating them from the lobby.
Well, and that's kind of the thing, right? Like, you may be able to isolate our anchor, but when our front line is that far forward, winning so many gunfights, the anchor just moves. You just pass the baton and say, okay, now we're going to anchor ourselves around living quarters. And again, Na'Vi cannot get their boots on the ground, man. They're getting absolutely destroyed. They just cannot find a way to get together and find any loot whatsoever.
I mean, they're farming them, literally. This looks like ranked. You're taking out 2, you're leaving 1 alive, and then you're farming them as they fall back in because they don't have their loadout. It's just as simple as that. Now Omit having to rotate in. They're going to run back into the Falcons. The Falcons want their position back, and unfortunately falling, but should be totally fine here. No real angles from Omit, not yet, but that's what Elo's going for. Has some loadout weapons, has the angles. The high ground here is huge because the only way up here is via a ladder, or of course flying back in after you die. So should be feeling pretty comfortable here unless a C4 hits him in the face.
Yeah, this is going to be one of those moments where it's breach and clear. There's the C4, there's the smoke, there's the play. I mean, Exhibit A of how to break a ladder setup, showcased by the Falcons. They will, again, anchor up this living quarters position. Amit will have to drop over towards strongholds, and then we now need to take a look to see what else will happen with the other teams trying to regain, because everyone's trying to get to this bottom side of the map, which is where the circle's starting to pull towards.
Well, we got to go check in on Guild in the middle of the map in Prison. Again, a fight for Prison. It looks like it's likely Fnatic on top, Guild down below. Guild has won the low ground. Fnatic has won the high ground. Off the offhand side here over by Kim, it looks like, again, Heretics cannot get anything going.
Yeah, the other thing about this is not only are New Icons pretty much a full squad, but below them is number 9 in that kind of salmon color. That's SGP Syndicate. So again, there's no free ground to land on anywhere.
Well, it looks like off screen we've got Skullface fighting Knight. Looks like squad 7's out of here, by the way. Our second squad to fall yet again. Aizen can't get anything going with Guild in the way. Bottom Prison is all Guild's territory right now, especially the last 2 maps. It looks like Twisted Mind's in a bit of a blender as well. It was actually Fnatic that pushed over and cleared them off that POI. But now, back here to Twisted Minds, this is what I'm talking about. Look at this restabilization. They're in a blender, which could open a window of opportunity. And here comes it. You can see it, Team 2 lurking in the shadows. Fnatic want to take down Twisted Minds. That's their main competition right now.
The problem is Twisted Minds have a very free and safe loadout drop, plus the ammo drop to get themselves essentially right back to where they finished from when they dropped. So even though it may not feel comfortable in terms of the positions they hold, they do have the full weapons that they want. Also, another scope over towards that backside of ship. They are going to be able to find number 10. That is Na'Vi again, who continue to just get farmed up by every squad bottom side of the map.
Oh, that's so free for Falcons. I mean, they're getting free kill after free kill. Na'Vi will not be fully eliminated. They're still alive. The Falcons are on 11 already, and it's almost entirely on the backs of Na'Vi, who's handed them kills. And unfortunate for them, Navi's doing what they can. There's nothing wrong about what they're trying to do. They just can't stabilize. They're getting killed everywhere they try to land. And we're going to head back to last map winners. Raul on 4, still fighting over here with Control, and it's Omit back on Control, taking this position, especially with new zone coming.
Yeah, Amit decided they didn't want to fight Falcons anymore.
That's right. Yeah,
so you rotate up to try to get some positioning around the top side of the circle where Control Center is. And like you said, it is going to be Team Destroy up in that area. But still, Falcons just spreading the map. I mean, they have, and you can see it on this expanded minimap right now, they have got the entire bottom third of the map. Just because they're playing so spread, they're finding individual kills, and it's putting a lot of stress on all these teams trying to regain right before we get our resurgence close.
Yeah, it's really this Falcon squad, south side or southwest side of the map. You've got Factory locked down by Twisted Minds. And frankly, top prison's Fnatic, bottom prison is Guild. And that's how it's been all day today. Those are some of our top teams. Guild just finally making a late resurge here. Could have another good game. They're on 7 off screen, but the Falcons are on 14 right now. It's not close, and we still have a few more seconds, about a minute and a half or so until that resurgence timer closes.
Guild and Fnatic are fighting right now. If we can get either squad 11 or 2 right, this would be pivotal, because whoever wins that battle out is going to get full prison control. And kind of looking at it, at least on our expanded map, it looks like Guild have pushed off Fnatic almost completely. So Guild in a great spot to try to come from the north side of the map and possibly one-up their performance from last game.
Yeah, look at this Almond all by himself. Does have a portable buy station if he needs it, is going to go ahead and just re-buy back his teammates, not going to take any risks here. We still have 55 seconds on Resurgence, but if you wait 20 seconds, look who's lurking, look who's coming. The Falcons know they are flying in, they are soaring for power position, and right now, it is HQ.
Yeah, they see Almond's buyback, and they say, okay, does she want to buy someone up here? We'll just head right on over. Again, they've controlled this bottom third of the map for free. Now all the streaks start to rain on in. Skullface on the way back, trying to get himself some safety. He's got to go all the way to the bottom floor, so once again, Falcons in a position to try to swoop in on this, but also the same way, AB Wiz, top side of the high ground, has got to look at this as well.
Well, this is a brand new AB Wiz team. They're playing a totally different strategy. Let's get top prison. Why not? We haven't seen them top prison since, I think, game 1 of group stages, finally making a move to the inner parts of the map rather than the outer parts, and seemingly finding some success, finding Ahsoka, as we see another fight here on the left-hand side of the map, trying to gain some sort of power position, but right now, the only teams near prison that have any sort of semblance of stabilization. Quick look at the map here, as Luganis is trying to find the Syndicate team, and our Resurgence closes. Everybody wanted prison. The problem is, it's now on Factory, which means Twisted Minds, if they can stay alive here, should have the best spot.
Yeah, absolutely the case. The other thing about this, with the circle starting to close, the fast side of the circle is through prison. So teams like Guild, teams like AB Wiz, teams like Amit, that we've all talked about being on the north side, will have to rotate down towards Fnatic and Falcons. Things are going to get really, really messy as the circle starts to close here in the next 20 seconds on that top side of the map. Definitely keep your eye to see what AB Wiz and Guild can do from prison.
Fanatics getting torn apart, Resurgence timer down. They're also out of cash. I mean, we've already just spent about $7 grand getting our teammates back just a moment ago. All of a sudden, you're last alive, you're Almond, you only have 1,700. That might have been an error. He's got a buy station up with him. He just doesn't have the cash.
Yeah.
He could have saved a little bit of time, but it's just high risk, high reward playstyle. You had to risk it, and right now, they are in a blender, which is good for just about every other team. But the Falcons are on 16, and they are lurking, waiting, looking for Almond, trying to get that team wiped.
Almond's screwed. He's out of the picture. He's just hoping he can find some sort of a play to get to the top 8. But again, watch the rotation on your minimap. Kill the team number 13, team number 11. That's what we're looking at. That's Amit and Guild that are going to be in absolute battles with one another. Vision able to drop himself back in. Behind this play, the late rotators will be AB Wiz. It's going to get messy here at headquarters.
Yeah, Guild is getting real dirty down below as we lose Pat Zuka. Not going to repeat that success this time around, falling in about 12th or 11th now. We have 11 teams remaining. We're not even close to the multiplier yet, and we're moving in towards 5th circle. Crazy to see this situation with Almond still last alive, yet AB Wiz holding on, 9 eliminations in total, and they're just trying to throw a hope and a prayer with a grenade to maybe get a knock to try to send, because they have the long side of the zone. Look at where it pulls. All the way to Twisted Minds. They are ready to take this game.
Yeah, I'll just make a bold prediction here, Coach. We got 11 teams alive right now. By the time this circle closes, we're going to have 3. Everyone is going to be in a blender trying to rotate down in, like you mentioned, Twisted Minds and Syndicate without question in the best current positions. It just comes down to, do they forfeit those and try to third party with all these actions coming on?
You need kills, 16 still for Falcons. They haven't found any in the last 2.5 minutes. AB Wiz says, why not the gondola? Let's try it. Well, the problem with the gondola, there's like no cover. They go prone. They do make it with a little bit of visual cams. Heretics somehow restabilize, trying to find some sort of success. Problem is, you got to open up your shoulder to another team, and there are so many in the area. Still 11, but you're right. It's about to get real mixy. We're about to go down to 5 here shortly, as Almond does win his ones. Always wins his ones. The problem is, you've got no resources. All you have is a self-revive. I don't know if he's going to make it in. This could be a window of opportunity, as it looks like Guild with white teams left, right, and center off to the other side. Fnatic is out of here. Window of opportunity open for some of our bottom teams, with the Falcons still alive, holding that window shut, saying not today.
You got Falcons in the high ground, safe side of the corner, destroys deep in one of the buildings that's going to have to be pushed out, and then Guild other other side, playing through the gas. Those are your three healthiest teams right now. It's just down to who finds who first.
All of a sudden, Guild is in contention to slowly creep towards this top 3. Guild is about to make a move up this leaderboard. They can stay together. They're losing one. It looks like Visions is pushing out. Omit's going big off screen. That's actually Syndicate falling. Not a full wipe, but dang close. 8. We found our multiplier, but the question is, where do we go from here when this circle is this small?
Amit has got himself a little corner. The circle's going to continue to force them to have to move very rapidly, though. Guild also being shredded by every single squad because the Falcons are up top, and they force Guild down to the low ground. Destroyed from the other side. The other full squad of 3, and here we go. Final circle moves towards Destroy.
Syndicate out. Omit continuing to find a tear. They're also a full team of 3. They have the short into the zone. All they have to move through is somehow Na'Vi, who's still in this game, likely only a couple kills to boot. I can't imagine it's going to be a huge point value, but they are extra bodies in the way. You lose resources, you might lose. The Falcons do not lose gunfights. Team Destroy can't do anything. Biffle on 1 single HP, but it doesn't matter. You've got resources, you've got position. The Falcons are in position to win this with 2.
That was a stupid rotation from Falcons. Up and over behind Destroy, catches them completely by surprise. Still fully healthy though. Amit, they're looking to get the wrap. They may surprise Falcons here from behind.
Guild is out. They get 6. Na'Vi gets 5th. No multipliers for Guild. They desperately needed it. Unfortunately, 1.2. We're into the final 5 and Omit. You're never going to leave them out. That's what their name means. Destroy's out of here in 4. 3 teams remaining. Omit might have a small advantage, but the problem is positioning. Look at where the Falcons are. It is a Falcon range way up in their nest, just firing down on the teams below. The problem is, look at the zone shift resources. We're out on gas mask.
Yep.
This is going to get real mixy.
And the thing about it is Amit just may be the healthiest team. They're playing very passive, but it may work out because eventually Falcons will have to try to make a move. And it looks like Biffle may be the one to call it. Here comes the fight though down low.
Wow.
Amit able to take care of new icons. Everyone's low. Here would be the time for the Falcons to swoop in and try to clean up. Amit down to their last member. Falcons able to come through, find the kill, and take the win. High ground superiority continues to be the name of the game.
High ground superiority, third-party superiority. You needed those teams to fight each other, and Omit needed to take the fight there. Ladies and gentlemen, the final map of Warzone is here. Esports World Cup. It's going to be loud. You can already hear it. I don't need to ask for it. Here we go. Teams dropping, same spots, different spots. It doesn't matter. It's all about the kills.
Yeah, and that's the thing is, like, we can throw all the numbers we want in the world, but who gives a toot? Let's just get into the action, see who shoots better, flat out, as Amit is going to already once again kind of bother into Na'Vi. Same story we've seen time and time again.
Yeah, this fight will go back and forth. I can only expect they both get some eliminations. Maybe Omit can find some flow here and play for 4th. We want to check in on this storyline because we need to see who gets it. But at the end of the day, Guild has to make the most historic run of all time, down 60 on 3rd, all right? So this is really a protecting of 4th right now. Yeah. The biggest map of the day biggest map of the tournament, 60 points. That was by Fnatic. Watch out for these teams. It does look like Omit went for the gold and unfortunately fall down to the bronze or maybe further. They're going to be way down the leaderboard, first team out.
Yeah, just to kind of tally where our top 3 are right now. Like you mentioned, Twisted Minds are at Factory. No one challenged them. Fnatic, backside of Headquarters Prison. No one challenged them. And of course, where did Falcons drop? Over towards Stronghold. No one challenged them. So there's going to be a moment of pause here in terms of how do we determine our champion. Both of those sets of teams looking pretty comfortable off their drops.
Fnatic may be the first of those trios to find some early engagements. Guess who it is? It's Zix. They continue to find themselves in precarious situations, sometimes come out on top. This time, not as successful as usual. Looks like Guild's finding a couple eliminations on the team we expect them to find. And yep, I expected Aizen to go big here, try to go for gold, and unfortunately 2 teams fighting you means you are out of here as well as new icon.
Yeah, Fnatic saw or at least heard all of the action right below them, and they're trying to get involved super early to see if they can third party, but they missed their window. Zix's squad is already out and put them enough separation, or so I would have thought for them to get out of there, but they got a knock onto 1 into Noobs, and that was enough for the whole team to come back. Skullface able to at least trade out 1, so Fnatic going to be able to stabilize, but look at the Falcons. They're trying to hunt them down early.
Falcons coming in. This is further reach than usual for their first push. They want to take out Fnatic, and they're doing so. Find 2 with all 3 alive. Hisoka is still playing anchor way back in Stronghold, but Biffle does not care. 2v3s, 2v4s, I don't care. Multiple teams, I'm going for kills. It's fine. We've got plenty of bodies way all the way around this kind of Stronghold area for Hisoka, or rather by himself, to just get your teammates right back. A lot of action. as we take a breath, Shifty is going to hang out here and make sure his teammates get back.
It's an aggressive move from Falcons, but you're 100% right. They're trying to take Fnatic out of the picture. Same story, though, for Twisted Minds, who rotated up quickly through Factory, and they are finding quite a good number of kills early. They're already on 4. Zizek's team, who loves to try to get back in the middle of the circle, is going to have a hard time. They are the ones that are looking like the loot to farm right now. They're between all of our major squads at the moment. So, again, everyone's collecting in towards headquarters. This is going to get hot.
Yeah, the quick notes here omit Icons, Eisend all out of the picture, which means Guild's path to 4th is, well, frankly, wide open. They're just going to play spoiler for somebody else. They might play spoiler to some of our top teams. They want to win. They have the ego. They want that. They want to make sure that nothing else could happen. But Fnatic's answering back on Biffle, maybe a touch aggressive here, gets cut down yet again, and now Shifty is on the run, and Noobs knows it. He wants this kill, but somebody's shooting him in the back.
That's Twisted Minds who's right behind him. So again, our top 3 squads are looking to battle each other without the drama of the final circle. Like you mentioned, this is no cause for concern for Falcons. They're going to be able to at least respawn in every single time. But Fnatic, who are between both parties, could be in a little bit of trouble here.
Yeah, and this is exactly what I expected from Twisted Minds. Everything on the line, nothing to lose. They just want kills, so they are well out of Factory. This is the first rotation we've ever seen from this team out of Factory in the first circle. They got their loadout, and they sprinted towards the action. They want as many kills as possible, and they're willing to throw their lives away for it.
And the other part of the conversation is Guild on number 11, team number 11, pardon me. They're up on a number of kills, already on 8. They've cleared out all of Prison, but if they want to get into the top 3, they need to rotate down and join this party. We need to see our top 4 squads starting to battle it out if there's going to be any major moves at the top.
It's Team Zix, fully eliminated. That's 4 teams out early. This is what we expected, which means there's less points on the board, by the way. 4 teams dead means way less players on the map going into the latter half of this circle. We got second circle halfway through. We assumed it would be highly aggressive. We assumed it would be high risk, high reward, and now we're finally seeing it with only 10 squads left.
Twisted Minds down to a single player at the moment. That pinch between both Fnatic and Falcons had not gone well for them. So they tried to get involved, try to take down one of those major squads, or at least shrug them off their positions. That doesn't work. So Twisted Minds are going to reset towards living quarters as Falcons will get a tally on where Abwiz is, which is right between both sets of the party.
Perfect team fight. Hisoka up on Stronghold means he has all the information, can get some first bloods, help out Shifty and Biffle. This is a free kill, a free wrap. They want to clear out Stronghold. Look who's coming, though. Team 2, that's Fnatic. Yep. They want to play spoiler. They can third party. They think this fight might last longer than it does. Now, Oki does get both of his teammates back. They're able to float back in. You can see Skullface and Noobs think better of it and back up.
This is brilliant macro play from Fnatic. They know they have to keep Twisted Minds at bay, but more importantly, you try to get Falcons into a position to where even if they do win, maybe they don't get the kills they need to beat us. Maybe we can out-multiplier them. So they're keeping them at arm's reach. Now it's down to Noobs. Rotating in, they've got Aiden right below, and they can smell blood in the water. They know this Twisted Minds team is weak.
This is a 2v3 on the side of Twisted Minds having the advantage. Twisted Minds, they stay together. They deathball. They push teams. It's actually one player hanging out way up at the top of HQ, something we saw Teenix doing from Omit all day yesterday. Noobs and Skullface playing the aggressors. It's Almond way up there, and they're trying to get an angle on this, but the comms from Almond are likely, you guys don't have the advantage, you've got to back up.
Yeah, absolutely the case, and there's no saving you at this point either. You also don't know where Falcons are. You haven't seen them in a while, so you just don't want to get too aggressive. Hisoka still sniping deep, though. Falcons are not a major threat towards either of those 2 squads, but they are a threat to AB Wiz as Shift able to find the kill and maybe a chance for more as there's still a couple of players nearby.
Unfortunately, if you're a fan of Vitality, they are out as well, down to the final 9 squads, and we haven't even closed the second circle. High risk, high reward, got to play for it. A lot of money on the line at every stage of this competition. 5th, 6th, 7th, all the way down. Tons of cash. We want as many points as possible. We're swinging for the fences.
Keep an eye, if we can, to number 3 in Twisted Minds. They have given up on the rotation playing between Fnatic and Falcons, but they're rotating into SGP Syndicate and number 11 in Guild. This could get really, really mixy for them. It's another tough battle with 2 full squads in front of them.
Yeah, especially with that Guild squad in trouble by Donkey. I believe that's Syndicate, like you called out. So you've got Guild, you've got Syndicate, and you've got that Twisted Mind squad all over there on the far right-hand side of the map, which is going to be that eastern side up towards the north side of Prison. And finding some more eliminations, this is called hunt down your opponents who are trying to restabilize. Noobs looking for some freebies. Navi going to give them a little bit of trouble, but not a lot.
I mean, when the map is this open with so little teams, expect Fnatic to continue to do this. Falcons are so far out of the picture that now all of a sudden Fnatic kind of have this little bit of a power surge to where they know they can third party some of the weaker squads that are over towards ships and docks. So now all of a sudden Fnatic putting themselves a couple of good kills together. It's just down to making sure we don't play too risky because your solo anchor is way out in Narnia at the moment.
This is the top 3 teams hunting the map for kills. They fought each other for a bit, and now they're sweeping the edge because you're right. Way less kills to go around, which means every single point is massive, as it looks like the Falcons are making a late-game surge straight up the middle with everybody up to HQ. They want this high ground position. They want it now, as on our screen, Fnatic falling to AB Wiz. They lose 2. Now, Almond all by himself. He is the last alive for his team, and he is not on high ground.
And he was the last player left as the anchor, which Falcons were trying to hunt. So, moment of panic right there from the side of Fnatic. They do get towards the buy station. They can reset. In the picture is Heretics, though. There's still a 3-man squad over towards Control Center as AB Wiz and Co. start to stabilize and win out this battle versus Na'Vi. But the Falcons are here. They're looking to contest. They know they've got Fnatic nearby. They want to finish them.
Yeah, that AB Wiz squad could make a play for 4th here if Guild can't get a move on. They do have a sizable amount of eliminations. Everybody's slaying! Fnatic goes down at the hands of Shifty. A full team wipe. Fnatic is out of the picture. The only team that can touch the Falcons is Twisted Minds, but they need an absolute banger. Frankly, Shift, they need one of the biggest games today. 40 plus and counting as the Falcons stay alive. The crowd goes wild because they know what this means. If they can secure the kills, they can secure the win. No one can touch the Falcons.
And on top of that, if you really want to play the macro, Saudi Arabia is going nuts because they can have a 1-2 finish here. There's still a chance where even if Twisted Minds can't quite catch up to the Falcons, they may be able to surpass Fnatic. So it would be a 1-2 Saudi org finish. How incredible that would be to start off everything at EWC.
The Fnatic team took a risk. They spread out. They sent 2 out. They actually pulled what is the Falcons' cannon strategy. It's kind of the Rebirth strategy. It hasn't been paying off for anybody, and apparently it doesn't pay off in the final map either. They had to go for gold, and unfortunately, they will likely fall silver or bronze, but still a lot of math to be done and Shifty in a bit of trouble. This team is now got a tournament to lose at their hands. They just need a mediocre performance.
Yeah, and again, just to reestablish, like you mentioned, it's kind of an island where the top 3 are just very safe. Guild is still alive. They're currently in 4th, and they've put together a good map, but they would have to put together an incredible map with a win if they were to want to touch where Twisted Minds were, which, again, they're also keeping that gap pretty tight with the ability for them to pick up 8 kills, at least at this point. So, again, it's just down to what does Twisted Minds put together? Can they eliminate this Falcons team and give themselves a chance to possibly surpass Fnatic?
A lot of money exchanging hands. Resurgence closed, and we're moving into the next zone. Guild need a big one, holding off the advances of AB Wiz and other teams nearby. The Fnatic's an opportunity, and they lost it. An opportunity to take gold, and they just barely missed. And now they're just biding their time, waiting to see what this team right here, this team that could take 2nd, this team that theoretically could take 1st, but they need a monster map. And they don't have a lot of kills to boot, not as much as they would like. 8 kills total right now, and this is the problem. There's only a total of 21 other people on the map.
They would essentially have to wipe Falcons right now if they wanted to have a chance at possibly surpassing them, and they would have to still rip apart pretty much the rest of the lobby. So it is starting to feel pretty darn confident for Falcons. Not a guarantee yet, but with Fnatic out of the picture, there is an opportunity for maybe some action to possibly still happen around the center of this top 3.
Yeah, this zone pull is an extremely favorable pull for both Guild and Falcons. Yet again, being gifted this circle means everybody else has to come to them. Heretics are going to make a late-game push over there to HQ on the other side. Twisted Minds don't know what to do with themselves. They look a bit lost. They look a bit frenetic. I don't know what they're trying to do right now. They need to get a move on again. They're so safe that they just need to fly at teams right now. They're not at risk of giving up their position unless Guild drop like a 70, and well, Syndicate's coming out of nowhere, finally waking up in 9th place going into this, wiping everybody on the map. Twisted Minds finally answering back as the only team that wasn't struck by that PA.
Yeah, that was legitimately just Intex saying, we'll see what happens, but that was fishing with dynamite right there. Takes down a number of members, but none of the kills were confirmed. Everyone gets back up, so hot action right inside the central building and headquarters, but doesn't turn into too much, but you can see Twisted Minds fully healthy, looking to make their move.
An absolute cluster here at HQ. This is where we ended all. The Falcons have taken the roost. They've taken Fnatic's position, and we will end there to add insult to injury. But Aiden will not stop. Aiden will not fall. Knight with the backup gets the trade and keeps Aiden alive. A huge play by Twisted Minds to stay in this game. There was a moment there they might have fallen and given away the win, but there is still a chance for Twisted Minds.
The Falcons are making the macro play for the tournament right now. They do not want to drop. They know that if they just put themselves into a top 3, top 5 position, they likely win the $1 million lion's share. So it's just about playing safe from here on out for the Falcons.
8 kills for the Falcons, looking for the multiplier. Slowly but surely waiting for the teams to come to them. You're right, it's a macro play. There's no reason to push the equation. There's no reason to give your life away. You've got to make sure that you secure this win. Slow play, and unfortunately on the other side, Zsmit can't get the better of Guild. Guild making a huge surge. It's not going to be enough to really move them up the leaderboard too dramatically, but they could thwart Twisted Minds from making a play for second. Yeah, Fnatic would love that.
Aiden's in a lot of trouble right now. He doesn't have any ground to work with, doesn't have a tremendous amount of cash, so he's just got to try to play his life out, and, well, he will put himself in an opportunity to kind of re-kit up just a touch, but again, now the focus is all about what the Falcons could do. PDS going to get placed. Hisoka just still trying to watch him above as the rest of the group gets together as number 12 is out of the mix. That's Heretics down and dusted. Final 6 teams.
PDS is all over the place, just trying to stay alive. Everybody wants the multi. Aiden able to buy back his teammates. Twisted Minds still in this. They do have 13, but the Falcons have 11. By the way, Fnatic fallen with 10, which means the Falcons, their only competition right now is Twisted Minds. They have dramatically taken down Fnatic.
Wow.
There is no one that can touch them, and they are playing the macro. PDS is on buy station. This is how they started this event, and this is how they're going to end it. Twisted Mind falls. The Falcons, last team alive in the top 3. The Falcons going to take it all in style. Let's see what they're able to do. Hisoka by himself. How about a couple C4s, AB Wiz? How about a gun to the face, AB Wiz? Can't quite fall, but unfortunately, Hisoka with 3 is going to make a play. Back to the buy station we go. Has enough cash if he can find a PDS, which he does have. Can get a buyback here. Could still make a play to win it all. There are 2 players remaining. It is Oki versus Hisoka.
And Hisoka may just see this one live out in the gas. There's the rest of the team. It's going to be down to just one. AB Wiz is down to Oki. All 3 Falcons flying in for the final moment.
The final moment all together like we started. Shifty, Biffle, Hisoka, they win the final map. They win the whole tournament. There is no debate. There is no dissension. The Falcons are now the greatest Warzone trio the world has ever seen. Your Falcons are the first Esports World Cup champions. $200,000 to their name. The celebration from the crowd. The Falcons.
And lift your trophy as Call of Duty Warzone champions. Ladies and gentlemen, make some noise for Team Falcons!